Hello, welcome back. I'm Richard the Painter, and this video is all about a Land Rover Defender G4. You'd have seen it in the thumbnail, hopefully. So if you're into Land Rovers, we are doing quite an in-depth job on this one. So this video will basically be showing you where we are now and the stuff that we're going to be doing, and then I will try and show as much as I can everything else as well. It is kind of difficult because we are a busy workshop, so I can't always film everything, but I will try and give you updates and stuff like that and keep you updated on where we are. So we've already started stripping. You might see in the thumbnail anyway. So as you can see, it drove in here. It was a really nice thing, to be honest. So basically what we're doing is the customer bought this years ago, had to sell it, and then every year he would message the guy who he sold it to asking if he could buy it back. Eventually the guy said yes, okay, you can have it back. He's picked it back up, and basically we've got typical Land Rover stuff, really. Nothing that's bits of rock. So what we've done is we've stripped it. We've got basically 3 pallets sat here. So what we do is we strip everything as best we can. That trolley over there, I don't know if you can see, with all the limb bins on. Weirdly, I don't use it for nuts and bolts. I use it for when we have to strip these big vehicles down. Now, ordinarily, I don't want to be stripping these vehicles at all. I would rather it turned up, stripped. We can do our bit, you can have it back, and then you can do it. Purely because it eats a massive amount of labour. Now stripping it, no problem, but putting it back together nicely, that's when you can eat another twice if not 3 times as many hours putting it back together. And then as you're putting it back together, you start noticing stuff like, should I be changing that bolt? So you pay all that money to have it painted, and then you're like, I've got mild steel bolts on it, I want the stainless. And then we polish all the light fittings up, but then all the backings are cracked, so they end up buying new ones of them, and then there'll be some wiring broke. You can almost guarantee it. You know, we've got like a hole here, if you like. I believe that was for the cage, in all fairness. I'll show you them in a minute. But we've got a stainless screw, look, and then we've got a mild steel screw. So that needs to come out and be replaced with a stainless steel one. Just stuff like that you find as you go along these things. Very annoying, and that's why they take so much longer, and that's why I try not to have anything here that we have to strip. I haven't had anything here that we're stripping like this for... I mean, we do the vans, we do a lot of the transport vans, so if you're here for them, I mean, we've nearly always got a transport van here, if not 2. I mean, we've got 2 at the minute, you haven't seen the other one yet. And then painting basically door shuts out. We've got 4 brand new doors for it because they're all rotten, they're all a mess, they're all over there, they're all... The weather strips, the rubbers, everything, they're all going to have to be replaced. They're all knackered. One of the customers, so all this as well is part of the G4 package, I believe. Big massive bumper and side bits and all sorts of stuff. So that is basically going to get blasted and repowder coated. Some of it's sun damaged, some of it's chipped. The front one's rotten, but I still need to speak to the customer about that, see what he wants to do with that. Stuff like this here. Now that looks really scabby, but it's not thin and it's not hold. So when we blast and powder coat all this stuff, that'll go in the pile as well. So when that comes back, that looks brand new as well, you see. So as you can see, we've started stripping because we needed to inspect the bulkhead, because there was little telltale signs like this. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then you start finding a gaping great big hole in the bulkhead, holes here, check straps completely rotting out. The floor looks good so far, but all these screws, again, mild steel screws, and they're all knackered. So we've got full stainless kit going in there. A little bit of the gutter rail here, knackered. This top corner's knackered. Again, check strap completely knackered, you know, just rotten. Hopefully you can see that. Now, again, the floor's good. So, although the floor was very wet when we took everything out, you can see here. Yeah, there's loads of it there. So, not quite a disaster, but I mean, it's up there. Gotta be positive about these things, haven't you? Again, all the bolts, he wants changing basically to stainless, so they all look nice and stay nice. Bonnet's in good order. I don't know if you can see on the backs of these doors here. Which one was it? Which one was? Yeah, look at that door. Looks like we're going to have the certainly the roof off in that section anyway, because we need to find another one of these. It's gone all the way along here anyway, and the rest of it's alley, and that's obviously steel, so we'll need to deal with that. All these plastics in here, they're all sun damaged. You can see the dark and light spots on them. So basically what we're going to do with them is, because there's nothing actually wrong with them, they're not broken. So we're going to paint the grille and then plastic light panels at the same time. We'll just re-matte black them so they'll look nice and fresh when they go back on, because there's no point buying new ones, there's nothing wrong with them. And I think he said they're quite, I'll have to double check, but I'm sure he said they were quite expensive, which is why we spoke about painting them. I'll have to double check that though. So yeah, so the bulkhead's getting ripped out, which if you've ever done one, it is a mammoth job. So everything that's associated with the bulkhead has to come off it, and anything that's associated with it this side, i.e. dashboard, everything, all has to come off it. Every nut and bolt, rivet, everything, all has to come off. We've got a new one coming, so basically what we're going to try and do is, because it's so labour intensive, strip that down, and those associated panels, so the windscreen panel, the upper one, the bulkhead, even these little fly screens, we're going to paint all that associated stuff, the flaps and everything, off the car, but treat that as one job if you like. So because there's a lot to do, Alan's come to say hello. Or just stare at us in a weird way. Yeah, so basically we're going to treat that as one job. Oh no, he's coming there. Say hello. Hey. Say hello. Yeah, so we're going to treat that as one job, and then that'll all go back in, everything will be built back up. Then we'll start on the outside of everything, if that makes sense. We'll look at the doors. We'll have to fit all the doors. All the screws are coming out anyway. You can see they're all like rotten and rusty, so we've got all stainless stuff going in. Let me know if you want to know anything, or if you got any tips or tricks that we're not aware of. There's quite a lot going on with that, so that's be a good one. Right, while the compressor's running, just thought I'd cut in there. Excuse the state of me, by the way, I'm absolutely roasting. So I've got the bulkhead off, keeping it under a cover at the minute because all the electrics are there. I want to keep them nice. So around the back of the boot now. Right, So as you can see, the bulkhead, dashboard if you like, everything associated with that has all had to come off, bits of floor, wiring, which is very tight in there by the way if anybody's interested. We've got a couple of bits. We're waiting on a new bulkhead. I will show you that process as well. And we've got a couple more bits. Looks like some of the Simpsons now. Flintstones even. If you're old enough to remember the Simpsons. Bit weird. Yeah, so we're just waiting on parts. The bulkheads for these are very expensive. It has to come from manufacturer apparently, so it takes a few days to turn up. We have got a handful of other bits to do on it. We're cleaning up along the way. There's a lot of bolts that are knackered, and so we're dealing with them along the way while we're waiting for the bulkhead to turn up. Right, so people that are following, well, if you're watching this, I'm guessing you're interested in this as well. Landrover. It's a late td5. So we've just had the bulkhead turn up, so I thought we'll just cut in there quickly and show you. So we've got new fly screens. Just make them out in there. And a new galvanised bulkhead. So now what we have to do is get all that scrubbed up, get that epoxied, try and do that as quickly as possible. And then we've got a handful of other things. So we can scrub the epoxy there once it's dry. We can then get everything else ready. So everything associated with this bulkhead we're going to paint at the same time, and you'll see that hopefully in this video, assuming I haven't lost myself. And I've just had to swap SD cards. That's another one that's broken. And they're not cheap ones either, so that's a bit annoying. So I don't know what's on that, hopefully nothing. But right, so I'll get organised and get me a pile of stuff ready, and then we'll go through everything and see if we can get this painted, and then hopefully get it fitted. Right, I forget where we were. I think we're still on bulkhead. So we've got it cleaned up, sorted out now. This is that was the diaphragm for the bulkhead. Bolts through here. This is the bulkhead. It came with a travelling bar, so I've left that on just to purely for paint reasons really. I can get a good angle at it while it's sat up like that. Build up a nice wet coat of epoxy. We're going to bake that, leave that overnight. We'll come back in the morning, which will carry on for you. We can sand all that back down again, get that to a sensible stage where we can wet prime it, and then we're going to paint it. So hopefully you've just seen me put a coat of epoxy on, nice and wet. I doubled up along the top, mainly because they're the bits that you're going to see down the road, and just to give me a little bit more to flat back tomorrow. I've got to flat it all back anyway, so if there's any bits or whatever like that that lands in it or ends up in it, we're going to clean all that back tomorrow before we wet and wet it anyway. After we wet and wet, we can give that about 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on the temperature. Start painting then, and then hopefully for me it will be a Monday. But then that clears this job up for the week, and then the lads can start building it back up. Because it's a very big job. If anybody's ever done one of these bulkheads, you'll know what I mean. There's wires, nuts, bolts, trim clips, screws. A lot of them don't want to come undone, a lot of them we have to cut off. Then in turn need tidying up and organising, retapping, so we can fit all the new stuff back on. A lot of replacement parts. People that have done the Land Rovers, are the little red square pushing nut, nylock nut. We've got a bag of 50 of them. I bet we burn through most of them. The big screws as well, the big stainless screws, because the original mild steel ones are all rotted. So we swapped them all over for stainless, so then we won't have a problem going forward. Same as the washers as well, swap them all for stainless. How much it costs at this stage, you may be talking, depending on how much you change anyway, you might be talking another 100 quid on a job of that size, which really is nothing. So definitely worth the extra few quid, and then you shouldn't have any problems with them going forward either. And then next time you want them out, for whatever reason, they should come out, or you shouldn't have any problems anyway. You've seen a bit of paint. I'll just show you around now before we put them on bake, so you can see what they look like. looks better now it's in colour. Put that on bait now. Grab a couple of bits out of here. Right, welcome back. I say welcome back, the video's probably just carried on, so hello anyway. Landrover Defender, there we go. Find out where we are. Or what's left of it. There's the roof. I was thinking about putting an engine on that. We can have an outboard on that. So I can't remember where we were last time. This might sound like a broken record, but I lost a shed load of footage due to a computer malfunction, which has now been rectified. I just can't do anything about the footage, unfortunately. So the videos are going to be all over the place, and that's why you haven't seen any for a while. This is just going to add on to whatever's left on my computer, so if it don't make sense, that's why. So basically, what we done last time. So last time we was fitting, it's been that long I can't remember myself, so we've done the bulkhead. Just to recap, we've had a new bulkhead in there. Alan's in the way. So we started putting that all back together. Under here's all been cleaned, re-soundproofed, in there, or will be anyway. We're waiting on some more turning up. So basically what we've done is we've painted, as you can see, all the floor pans have been painted, sills been painted, even though it's covered, it's all been painted. Customer wanted it all back nice and clean and tidy, so basically everything's been gone through. The tunnel, everything's been either replaced, repainted. All the screws have been swapped out for, well, the ones that came out anyway, they're all stainless, so hence the nice shiny bits there. So we've painted this back piece. We've painted this floor pan and this piece. We're again just waiting on more sound ending for that. We need one more, just so we've got an even amount. For people that have OCD, you'll know what I mean. This panel's been replaced. I don't know if you remember. Hopefully it's in the other videos anyway. But it was all rotten out down here. It's literally some rivets, so we just painted that, put a new one of them in. You see it's all clean and tidy now. You'll also see the new doors. Basically we have 4 new doors. We're just waiting on the bottom hinge because that one's knackered, and then we can set that door up to a degree anyway. So on the back, we just pulled this panel off here because there's a little bit of rust up here, and just made sure we get these edges nicely because they weren't originally painted. So it'd be nice to paint the parts individually and then like pop them back on. Same as this side. Again, nothing major. This panel that fits on top of here, which that's somewhere safe, we've basically got brand new ones, so it's basically the L shape that sits along here, this side. Oh, up there actually. So one's completely rotten. If you look at the floor, that piece has completely come away. So this one's completely gone. And then that side, because we've got it all off anyway, and apparently they weren't that expensive according to my customer, I haven't checked. We've just changed them anyway, so then everything's fresh. So we're just waiting on that hinge. We can set the door, then we can take the doors off and start that paint process. When we get a bit more room next door, we can take the roof round, dissect the roof, bodywork the roof, and then paint the roof, so that's ready. We're a bit limited on storage at the minute. I utilise one of these if we're ever doing a big job and taking it apart, because you've got both sides should you need it. And we use these Euro bins, and I have these big lin bins as well, as you can see down there. The neater you can keep it when you're taking it off, the easier it is to go back together, because you can strip one of these really quickly, but to put it back together nicely it takes a lot of time. And then we keep everything just stashed down here at the moment. But we've ended up with two of these at the same time, you see. Not as old as this, but two G4s, which is a bit unusual to have two in at the same time. But one's basically a full paint and one's a full, pretty much a full sort of resto, if you like. So this one's more the resto one, the other one's a full paint. Same colour again, in the orange. Yeah, and then that's where we are with all the powder coat. Yeah, we've got a full set of rubbers for it, which are all sat somewhere. We've got a new cross member for the middle because it was rotten, so we're going to change that, but we've also got one for the back, which I think we've spoke about before. So once we get this side kind of set up where we need it to be, we'll whip it around the other side. That's a bit close. Whip it around the other side where the ramp is, and then we can deal with them, the rear cross member and the middle one, and then we'll bring it back round here for final fittings and stuff like that. But while it's round there, we'll paint the rear tub and stuff like that, so hopefully we can have it back in order of us building it back up. Yeah, so that's that one for now. I do apologise about the videos, they're all over the place and horrendous, and room for further improvement, as they say, in that respect. Basically the power pack in the computer decided to frizzle fry, and it chose the SD card. Luckily the SD card, not my keyboard or mouse or something like that, so it just fried that. So it's a bit annoying. So now the T4 that people were waiting on is set outside painted. I had the whole 2 or 3 videos of it being painted and stuff like that, so it's a bit annoying. But basically this is Land Rover G4, sorry. I will try and show the other one as well, maybe not so much this style, because that one's more just the paint. I believe I've shown it anyway, but yeah, it's a bit unusual to have 2 at a time. It's not something we normally do, so yeah, but that's it for this one, and I'll try and put this together. Hopefully it makes sense. If right, I'll do one. Bye for now.